The Space Marines, also known as the Adeptus Astartes, represent the pinnacle of the Imperium of man's military power and are regarded as the Emperor's most perfect creations. Their origin dates back to the first founding, when the 20 Astartes legions were created from the Emperor's own genetic material to lead the Great Crusade. Each of these legions was commanded by a primarch, a demigod crafted through advanced genetic engineering. Throughout the millennia, the Imperium has conducted multiple foundings, massive and heavily regulated processes that give birth to new chapters of Space Marines. These foundings can only be authorized through an edict from the High Lords of Terra, and their planning can take centuries. The Adeptus Mechanicus plays a crucial role in this process, being responsible for reproducing and purifying the original gene seed, as well as providing the technology, weaponry, and infrastructure required to form a new chapter. Each Astartes chapter is autonomous and possesses its own homeworld or fleet, internal hierarchy, culture, and traditions of war. Future Marines are recruited from among the strongest and most resilient youths of selected human worlds, who are chosen after exhaustive biological and genetic testing conducted by the Magos Biologus of the Mechanicus. These worlds are often harsh and violent places, where only the fittest survive, ideal breeding grounds for future superhuman warriors. The process of transforming an ordinary human into a Space Marine is long and extremely dangerous. Recruits undergo multiple surgeries, biological grafts, and genetic transformations. They are implanted with 19 additional organs, known as the Astartes gene implants, derived from the Emperor's biological material. These organs grant the Marine superhuman strength, endurance, and speed, as well as the ability to regenerate tissue, resist toxins, survive without oxygen for extended periods, and enter a state of conscious hibernation. Psychologically, the Marines are indoctrinated through hypnoconditioning, mental programming, and ideological purification that eradicates all traces of doubt or fear. Their education revolves around obedience, absolute loyalty, and the rational worship of the Emperor as the supreme ideal of humanity. However, unlike the ecclesiarchy, the Astartes do not see the Emperor as a god, but as a perfect man. This doctrinal difference has caused numerous conflicts with the Adeptus Ministorum, the religious institution of the Imperium. Throughout Imperial history, the relationship between the Space Marine chapters and the ecclesiarchy has been tense. The clerics view the Astartes as heretics for not venerating the Emperor as a divine being, while the Marines see the ecclesiarchy as a political obstacle that interferes with war. This ideological conflict has led to isolated clashes, though both sides maintain a fragile truce based on mutual necessity. The most evident symbol of this ambiguous relationship is the Rosarius, a sacred artifact granted by the ecclesiarchy to the Astartes chaplains as a symbolic gesture of unity. However, each chapter adapts the imperial creed to its own form of faith, blending ancient rituals, tribal ceremonies, or the traditions of their homeworlds with the dogmas of the Imperium. The creation of a new chapter requires a monumental mobilization of resources. Entire forge worlds are dedicated to the production of weapons, power armor, munitions, and starships. Imperial architects design and construct the fortress monasteries that will serve as the headquarters of the new chapter. If the chapter is to be fleet-based, a vast battle barge is built to serve as its mobile fortress and the ultimate symbol of its strength. This process can take more than a century before the Marines are ready for combat. Attempts to accelerate their development often lead to disaster, as the gene seed may degrade or mutate, producing unstable or corrupted Astartes. A single Marine fall into chaos or turned renegade is considered one of the greatest threats to the Imperium. Within the Imperial structure, the Space Marines operate independently from the Astra Militarum. Their role is to intervene in the most critical conflicts, those where humanity stands at the brink of extinction. They are deployed to eliminate threats no human army could withstand, from orc invasions to demonic incursions from the Eye of Terror. The resilience of the Space Marines is legendary. Their modified physiology and extreme training make them warriors capable of surviving mortal wounds, radiation, vacuum exposure, and prolonged warfare. Unlike the Imperial Guardsmen, whose average combat lifespan is said to be barely 15 hours, a Marine can endure weeks of battle without rest. This comparison highlights the contrast between human fragility and Astartes' perfection. While the Imperial Guardsman represents the expendable masses of the Imperium, the Space Marine embodies its highest ideal. Both, however, are cogs in the same machinist system that devours lives in the name of a golden throne and an emperor who can no longer hear their prayers. At its core, the myth of the 15 hours reflects the reality of the Imperium. It is not an exact statistic, but a metaphor for the human cost of eternal war. The Space Marines exist precisely because ordinary men cannot survive in such a hostile universe. They are the genetic and theological answer to humanity's weakness. Though the ecclesiarchy may see them as near blasphemous, the Space Marines are the true sons of the Emperor, his living legacy, and his will made flesh. Each chapter carries within its DNA a fragment of the original ideal of the Great Crusade, and each fights believing their duty is to keep the spark of humanity alive in a cosmos that seeks to extinguish it. Thus, the difference between the soldier who dies in 15 hours and the Marine who endures for centuries is not merely genetic, it is symbolic. It is the line that separates man from myth, mortal from demigod, and victim from executioner. In the Imperium of man, only those who abandon their humanity are the ones who truly preserve it.